I'm a good person, I
Cannot.
swear to God. Welcome
That
to
girl
another
makes it better.
episode of The Real on Parenting, where life comes at us fast and our kids come at us faster. Y'all, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. Don't get your kids a dog unless you are ready to take care of the dog. If it's gonna be your child's responsibility to feed the
Oh, that's
dog,
funny.
water the dog, because apparently feeding them and watering them are two different steps that I because
Giving them
I
water.
since the bowl is because it's one thing with two bowls. One is for food, one is for water.
Gosh.
So why would they be two different steps? Just scoop, dump, what like literally his bowl sits in front of the water, the sparklets water thingy. Why is
That
this two
is too
steps?
funny, but very true.
If
It's
they
your
want, if
dog.
they don't want to clean up after themselves, they probably not gonna want to clean up after the dog. If they don't want to
Hey,
get up and go to school, they not gonna want to get up and go walk the dog. These are life lessons that I'm
like
learning,
mental note, right?
and I have tried for a whole year and some change. Adrian McIntyre, if you are listening, come get the dog. Come get him.
Now you have
I
people
am
looking
not
for her.
selling him to you. I am not selling him. What I am doing is gifting you and your family a dog. Uh,
Oh my
I know you're
goodness.
in the market for another one, and you can have this one. He comes with papers and toys, as you can hear he's playing. Anyway, all right. So today we're tackling a pretty I know that's I had to start off
It
light
gets
because girl,
serious.
listen, this topic that we about to get into is no
Yes.
joke.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
real one.
it's
It's a
a
real
real
one.
one. And I'm just like, why is this a thing? But it is a thing all the
It
same.
is a thing.
And so here we are. As I'm trying to tie this shirt, listen, some things are fashionable, but they're not functional. And I this shirt is driving me nuts. I'm trying, y'all.
You're good. You're good.
Putting the dog in this shirt, honey, I'm done with the day. When we finish this show, I'm out. Okay. I
Yes.
can't take it. But we're talking. Okay, so first of all, welcome to the Real on
So
Parenting.
welcome
I
back,
am, I am Coach Kiana Shaw, and this is my co-host.
therapist Danielle. Like how I said it correctly.
Yes, I do. I love it. And you
Thank you.
can
Thank
find
you.
her on Instagram at therapist_Danielle. Did I say
Thank
that
you. Because I'm
right?
like, wait a minute. We didn't practice that. Good job.
What?
Yeah. Because I'm like, wait a minute. All these underscores and space and capital. But yes,
And you can
thank you
find
very much.
me at Coach Kiana Shaw on Instagram, and you can find our podcast right here on Brownstone. See, now there I go messing that up. Brownstone Worldwide. Look,
Worldwide. Yes. Yes.
and now I got to go. Then I got to pick up the phone and go because I'm be in trouble. I'm be in trouble if I'm saying it wrong, and I know it. Child, listen, it's been a day. Um, yes, find us on Brownstone Worldwide. I had to double check. So shout out to all the people over at KCCR Radio, Brownstone. We appreciate you. We do. We
We
appreciate you, and
do.
thank you
We
for inviting us
do.
back for another season. As we move forward, we're talking about mothers who hate their daughters. And is hate the right word, Danielle?
It is. It
It
is.
is.
In
Okay.
the unhealed, Lord have mercy. Unhealed, there we go. In the unhealed phase of parenting, it is hate
Mhm.
because it's that projected feeling from the inner child. And keyword is child.
Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
it sounds horrible, obviously.
Right.
But that's what it is.
All right. So we're going to talk about that today. Um, I lost my train of thought, but we're going to talk about mothers who hate their daughters. And I want to say because my relationship with my mom is very loving. Now we had a rocky period when I was, a teenager, right? But I never felt that she hated me, even if I felt like
Mhm.
she was disconnected from me. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Okay.
my perspective on that is that it was never that she didn't like me, even though she probably absolutely did not like a
Right.
lot of the
We have
things I
those
was doing.
moments, right? Let's be
Right.
honest.
And I want to be clear that that's not what we're focused on. Like your
Mhm.
mom can hate the actions and still love you, but we're talking
Right.
specifically about mothers who hate their daughters. And the experiences of daughters who are hated by their moms, which the whole concept for me is just so foreign,
But they
right?
foreign, yeah,
I
yeah,
when we talked about this, and even in the last show, like at the end, I was like, we touched on that, and I want to revisit that. I just think like how do you hate what you have created? Even if you created it in, a situation that you no longer love, right? Sometimes,
right,
you ain't with the father no more, and so it's a situation. Um, but my goodness, the just doing the research on it, and seeing the amount of people who are like, yeah, it's a real thing. And so I think it's so important that we do talk about it. So let's get into it, Danielle. And listen,
yes,
I'm gonna default to you because you are the therapist, okay? And
no problem. No problem at
child,
all.
this topic
But
is
I would like to
sensitive.
say this first, like exactly, this is a very much so sensitive topic. If this has not been your experience whatsoever, it is very difficult to even think in this
Right.
way. Like you said, like, what are you talking about? Like, is this even a thing? Like, how can a mother hate their child, their daughter?
That's
Yes,
the
it is
thing.
something that many women experience. It is something that many young girls, many teenagers experience. But as a disclaimer, if you will, just because a person or now a mom has experienced childhood trauma does not default mean that they hate their daughter. I just want to
Facts.
put that out there, okay? But there is a disproportionate amount. Look at me, start to say big words. Amount of, I'm like, you can't hear Kiana cackling. But anyways,
Well, because I was like, she did it. She did it. Even though like she probably only had one cup of coffee. Like she did it.
I didn't even finish it. So I should get a star, okay? But there is a mass amount of women who whose experiences as the daughter feel that their mother hates them. And there is a big connection in regards to that mother's childhood trauma that has influenced and impacted their mother to daughter relationship with their own child. So within this topic, we're going to talk about different aspects, different dynamics of what does that look like? Where does it come from? What do you do with it? If you are a mom, and let me say this, it's kind of like if your default thought is like, what are you talking about? Like, I love my child. There's a likely chance that there can be some various aspects, and we're going to go over them that may
Really?
be
If
put
they
out
saying
there.
I love mine, that's a clear
Well,
indication.
I'm speaking from the aspect of, I would say, the default emotional reaction
Got it. Okay.
to that statement.
Okay.
Mothers who hate their daughters.
And
Whereas,
I just want to go on record. I am extremely uncomfortable with this conversation.
okay,
I
okay,
am. I just want to put it on record.
okay.
Yeah, I am extremely
And it's
uncomfortable.
okay. And you know what? And it is okay because you know what that's called? That's called being present with what you're feeling, even if it don't feel good.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And
Okay.
hopefully we can navigate it through it together. Okay.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
but exactly what Coach Kiana just shared. If it's something that kind of rubs you the wrong way, take a listen and just see if there's things that's being shared and talked about that may have been something that you experienced or is doing, but didn't realize that that's what was happening. Okay.
Right.
So there's a couple of things, but first is just unrealistic expectations of your child, of your daughter.
Mhm.
Um,
So wait, are we speaking to mothers who hate their daughters, or are we speaking to daughters who feel like their moms hate them?
I'm speaking to the mothers who hate their daughters.
Okay.
So, and if hate is too much of a strong word for you, then mothers who dislike their daughters,
No, no,
mothers
I'm
who,
rolling with what the words we're
well,
using. I just
well,
wanted to
I'm
be
speaking
clear.
more so to the masses, to the ears that are listening. Sometimes
Okay.
the hate is a strong word, and like I don't hate her, I just don't like her. You
Right.
know, um, it's kind of like she's xed out of my life, like y'all homies, or you guys were birthed at the same time, and you are not her
Mhm.
biological mother.
Got it.
So with a mother who has experienced trauma, and from that trauma, they have learned how to emotionally survive. That's a term that I've coined. You know, emotional survival does not necessarily mean healthy and does
Right.
not necessarily mean safe. Okay. It's just that you did what you needed to do to survive. Okay. And by way of the product of that you ended in. So let's speak to, for example, like our um hyper independent mothers, ladies, okay? And, you know, they got all their stuff together. They don't need nobody. You know, at 6, they know how to cook the breakfast. Don't forget the beverage and a piece of fruit, okay? These are these mothers, you know what I mean? So there is that those experience where those mothers, when their child are not developmentally in their head, emotionally, and even physically not lining up or matching to what they did as themselves as a child, there is that unrealistic expectation that they're supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
but not that proper understanding that no, that was your family dynamic in unhealthy situation where you had to cook a meal because if you didn't, you weren't going to eat.
Right.
You had to learn how to wash laundry at 4 and 5 because if you did not, you would have worn dirty clothes to school. That's not your current daughter's situation. You had to be hypersensitive and vigilant to your environments. So
Mm-hmm.
you learned how to read people in such a way and knew how to, I'm good. Okay, I'm okay. You know what I mean? Your
Right.
child, that may not be their current environment and situation. Hopefully it isn't. So understanding and becoming aware of there is a difference between what is typical within the physical and developmental mastering of a child versus that, along with the aspect of trauma. Because of trauma, because of the family dynamic, you had to do X, Y, and Z.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm over here taking notes. You see, I'm
It's
I'm writing
okay. I'm
down.
used to people taking notes, and I'm a note taker, so it brings me joy. Okay, when to see people put their head down, and I can see that shoulder moving. Um, so, so that can also lead to, and as a, I would say, as a little girl, and then you have your pre pre pre-pubescent pre-adolescence. There we go.
Listen,
If
right.
it's
I was
so
gonna
was
say,
shy.
please don't ask me to say that other one.
And then, teenage years. It's kind of, these are different developmental phases. You have the baby, the big kid, the adolescent, teenager, young adult.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
these are all, we all go through these phases, but we also, once again, have these unconscious, but also unrealistic expectation on what our daughter should and should not be doing.
Got it.
So just because you were juggling, taking care of your siblings, doing your homework and working a job, you feel that at, well, back in the day, you could kind of like low key work at 14 if you live in the hood, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So, you know what I mean? Like, we ain't put nobody out there, but we just saying,
Danielle,
so
come back, come back.
so with that, it's like you have that mentality, like I was doing this and I was doing this and I was doing this, and my mom and
Mm-hmm.
daddy weren't even there. I just took care of it. Why you can't clean your room, do the dishes, go outside, you and all these things, and you need to sit down with yourself.
Right.
What am I expecting from my child is as a result of what I experienced as a child and had to do
Mm-hmm.
by way of survival.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and I'm trying to give not so much extreme examples, even though extreme things do happen, but just to give an example.
And
That's
I want to point out, like, because while you're talking to the moms, like, it's important for the moms to understand there's a perspective from their daughters, right? When they have
yeah.
unrealistic expectations, their daughters feel like they are not enough.
They're not
They
enough.
feel like they
Yeah.
can never do anything right.
You're right.
They are riddled
Yeah.
with anxiety. They
Yeah.
are
They're functioning from that place of anxiety, but don't even know it.
absolutely, absolutely. And because you're a therapist and I'm a coach and we work with families in this dynamic all the time, like we
Right.
see this show up as either overachievement or underachievement, right?
Under.
Depending on
Right.
how
Right.
the kids receive it, right? And so when there's unrealistic expectations, first of all, there shouldn't be any, right? If you expect something, lay it out. Let your
So
kids
they can
go,
read.
you know what, mom,
Hmm.
this is why this can't be done. And then if you're like, no, that's BS, then show them how it can be done, right?
Yeah.
In a step by
Yeah.
step. That might show up as something as small as we tell them clean the bathroom, clean the bathroom, clean the bathroom. And then we get mad that they don't that the bathroom isn't clean, and
It's
they
not
going, it
clean.
is
Right.
clean. Did you sit with her and say, okay, this is the spray we use for the tub?
Right.
This is how we clean the tub. These empty
Mhm.
shampoo bottles, we go like if it's just a little bit of shampoo, we gonna combine them all into one. It ain't
Right.
contrary to popular opinion, like we can combine shampoos, okay?
Hmm.
Um, um, we can put like, why are there three different soaps? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
sometimes you have to sit with them and
It
go
is.
through everything step by
Well, it's
step.
not sometimes, it's all the time.
Well, because once you do it, like because
Well,
sometimes
there has to be the
the kids
initial,
can
right?
go, oh, okay, this is what it is, and then they can just get in there. But sometimes there are kids who are like, I don't understand this. What do
Okay.
you mean I can't? Like, okay, for instance, my daughter cleaned our bathroom and she sprayed the mirror with something that left a complete film. And I
Oh,
was going, the
okay,
mirror's
gotcha.
not clean. And she's like, I cleaned the mirror. And I'm like, ain't no way you clean the mirror. I'm not thinking that she sprayed it with something that was going to leave a film. You
Male,
understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? So then it's like,
got it.
okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to get some vinegar, which she hates the
Hmm.
smell. Like anything vinegar related, she don't want no parts. But we're going to get some vinegar and some water. And then we're going to clean it off. And then we're going to go back over it with some glass cleaner. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we got to
Right,
get
gotcha.
this off so that
Off
it's
first.
not just smearing. So in that sense, yeah, I have to teach you this step by step.
Hmm.
But now you know not to use this cleanser, right?
Right.
Now you know what happens if you do and how to fix it. And now you
Hmm.
know this is the product right here that we normally would use to clean
Use.
it.
Got it.
Sometimes we got to break it down step by step, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like that's something that I had to break down step by step. But I don't have to teach her how to clean the toilet. Like she understands there's the handle has to be clean, the top, the back part of it has to be clean, the lid, the seat, lift it up, you know what I'm saying? Put the little Clorox in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she understands that. I don't have to do it step by step because she loves it to clean toilet. Like if your toilet ain't clean, Kayla would just so use the bathroom on herself. She is not gonna play with you with no dirty toilet. Okay. But I did have to say, hey, the bottom of the toilet
Toilet.
is just
Yeah.
as important because
Right.
I can't stand that. Now that ain't her issue. That's my issue. Doggone it. If this I need all this porcelain to shine the same way.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
so, but for kids, particularly teenagers,
Hmm.
the unrealistic expectation of perfection
Yes.
is
Yes.
so damaging.
It
And I think
is.
that we do it a lot of times without realizing it.
We
But
do it
they
all
will
the times without realizing.
and they interpret it
They pick it up.
as hate. And it could just be you
Yep.
going, hey, I just want you to move in excellence. Right. But they're like, you're expecting perfection. That's not the same as
Yes.
excellence.
Yes. Yes. And also depending on the age and how the expectation of how it's supposed to be done and how it's supposed to look.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah. So, but yes, we can go on and on and on with examples. But yes, and those are just to name a few. Um, but there, in addition to, there's also the sense of, well, not sense, over control, helicopter mom, micromanaging mom, you know, as Coach Kiana clutches her pearls. So, so with this, as the mom, the view, and I speak in regards to trauma, I speak from the view of your lenses. Our
Hmm.
life experiences impacts how we view, how we perceive, how we experience things in the present. Okay. which sometimes does not align with the situation at hand in the present. However, a mother's childhood trauma can or has a great impact in regards to their mothering because they're
Mhm.
parenting from that wounded, hurt inner child and have on the protection mode, if you will. And I call it the angry mom aspect of nothing's going to happen to my daughter, which is a lot of moms, perspective, protect my child. However, in the way that it's done, there's that hyper controlling of everything, that doesn't allow the daughter to once again master certain developmental milestones that need to be mastered for your daughter's well-being, because you're just going to avoid it altogether. And then
Yeah,
when she becomes a quote unquote adult, she's supposed to magically know because
right.
you told her. We as humans, we are more so ones, we got to experience it once, maybe a couple of times before we be like, okay, those experiences were not allowed during the time frames that will allow your daughter to kind of adjust, learn some lessons, have a conversation about it, make some adjustments as needed. That wasn't happening. It was just totally blocked
Yeah.
for the sake of I'm protecting
And when doing that,
my daughter.
I, so I have been guilty of this. Let me say that.
Okay.
Where I thought I was teaching caution, I was actually teaching fear. There is a fine line
There is very
because
much so.
in teaching caution, you're like, hey, you don't just walk out the door in front of me. Let me go out because I need to be able to see if anybody's standing out there. I need to be,
Right.
what I'm saying? I have to be able to
Mm-hmm.
protect you. When we don't explain it and say, this is the reason that we do this, this is the reason why we move like this, then it's like, oh my God, I can't go out the door without somebody going out there first. Right. That's the difference. Where I'm trying to teach you caution, I could be teaching you fear in the name of safety. And a healthy fear is good, right? People, oh no, fear doesn't come from God. That is not what the Bible say. The Bible say that God does not give you the spirit of fear, but healthy fear keeps you from, doing things that are outside of your parameters, right? A healthy fear
Mm-hmm.
will make you go, you know what? No, 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 no. It doesn't have to be that you're moving in fear, but we have fight or flight. That's those are the
Right.
words I was looking for. Fight or flight it exists for a reason, right? It is a
Right.
natural thing.
Yes.
From the perspective of a daughter, I think that a lot of times, and I'm gonna use my daughter as the example. Like at one point, my daughter was just like, "Can I make a move?" Like where do I get to branch? Where do I get to try my hand at it? Um, and I thought I was really just being a good mom, like watching out for her and all of that. And then I was. Let me just be clear. I absolutely was. But it was the message that it was sending behind it. And we have to be
Right.
careful of how we
Right.
do it so that the message is not stifling to their growth.
Yes. Very, and thank you for sharing, but very well said, because there's aspects of everything that we're going to discuss or mention where it is okay and was okay given that developmental phase of your child. So as a
Mhm.
baby, as a toddler, yes, of course that's what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even at 4 or 5, okay, 6 or 7. All right, you may have some parents kind of like, and don't get me wrong, please do not take it as me saying let them do go with whomever, talk to whomever. No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm speaking from the aspect of the helicopter mom, you know,
Yes.
speaking from that place. There's a difference between having a balance and being informed and making adjustments in regards to your child's autonomy and what
Mhm.
they're actually able to handle and manage for them as an independent person.
Say that again because you went out a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. I
Okay.
got you.
So I was, whenever I got repeat something, it falls off my head. But I was
Okay.
saying, getting the having adjusting properly in regard and making a decision in regards to your individual child, but I also gives them the autonomy, age appropriate, of being independent, age appropriate. So
Right.
at 3 and 4, it's all mommy and daddy. You know what I mean? But when you get to 12, when you get to 13, when you get to 14, it doesn't magically appear. These are things as a mother that should be adjusting and shifting as our daughters are getting older. And once
Hmm.
again, like what you mentioned, these conversations should be happening along the way.
Yeah.
So, honey, the reason why you haven't been to grandma's and grandpa's house is because there is something that happened where grandpa said this or did this that mommy and daddy or this mommy did not feel comfortable with. So to make sure that you're safe, you won't be having visits over there. When we go, it'll be a week. Me and you or me and daddy or but
Right.
it's not going to be by yourself anymore. It's was this like is it forever? Mommy doesn't know at this time. It's those
Mm.
conversations. One, that's age appropriate, but two, that provides the proper information for your daughter to understand. And when you saying that, make me go to as when you share from the perspective of the daughter who feels that their mom or her mom hates her, it's from their perspective. It's their experience. You cannot tell your daughter how she feels or how she doesn't feel.
Facts.
That's just what it is. And feelings are not right or wrong. You cannot tell anyone what they feel or not feel.
Great. Time out. Traveling. Flag on the play. Can you say that again?
Feelings are not right or wrong.
So when parents are going, ooh wee, because I get this a lot in coaching. And parents are, and the child says, well, I felt this. And the parents are so busy trying to dispute it. You
So they're
can't
trying to
dispute their
justify.
feeling.
Yeah,
Right. You can't
yeah.
dispute their feeling. Like, stop. Let them have their feeling. Think about, and I always try to go back to relationships. Think about you and your spouse.
Hmm.
If they say this and you tell them how you felt about it, do they get to say, no, 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 your feeling is completely inaccurate?
Right,
You know what I mean? Like they don't get to do that.
right,
And we don't get to do that to our kids either.
right, right. And that's a whole nother actually therapy session. But with the nutshell of that is that it puts you in a place where you have to accept accountability for your actions. And that's why a lot of people deflect or minimize when someone is saying how they felt as a result of their specific actions. And that's the nutshell of that because I'll start talking on and on and on. But with that though, so keep it in mind. So you cannot take away or add to what your daughter is saying her experience was. And yeah, that's it. You can't. Um,
Did.
it may be a tough pill. Well, it will be a tough pill to swallow, but hopefully, with you tuning into this episode, opens your awareness that okay, there are some things or a lot of things that I have done and or am doing that I wasn't aware of or may have been aware of that I need to change. And I have to, where do you start? You start with yourself first.
Yeah.
You got to start here.
Mm.
Anything you want
Okay.
to add to that or say that? Are we moving on to the
No,
next?
we can move on because yeah, you hit it, honey. I had to circle back on my brain power.
Okay. So, um, mothers who are emotionally reactive. The key word is react. React when you think of it, it's not controlled. It don't have the iPhone volumizer. No, it's usually unexpected. It's usually extreme and does not match the situation.
Hmm.
And um it's damaging. So when your child or when your daughter doesn't know, okay, what mood is mom going to be in? It's not okay.
And I'm gonna say this: PMS is no excuse. Because that
It's
ain't
not.
unexpected. You know it come every month.
Right.
Now, if it gets you off guard, or maybe you forgot to take your herbal supplements or something, that's okay. But hurry up and get on them so that we can move
Yes,
past this foolishness.
yes, yes. So I'm gonna give various examples like I usually do. But criticism. And criticism
Mm-hmm.
can be very nice. But that message though, that message hits hard to your daughters.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be perfect. And it also puts them in a situation from functioning from that place of feeling validated through others. Because once again,
Right.
we already talked about that aspect of the autonomy. There is no autonomy because they were never put in that position of learning how to function in independence. They were never put in that position to function in or learn to have their own thoughts, to express their own feelings, to make their own decisions. So, in regards to them and basically their self esteem, this is strongly attached to it as well. Giving criticism, and it doesn't even have to be verbal, it can be always fixing something on them. Or that's what you're wearing, but not even with the tone. That's what you're wearing. But if you're being asked more times than not if that's what you're wearing, eventually your daughter's going to come out and say, is this okay? Is this okay? The transition, and I'm fast forwarding to adulthood, is once again validation through others in regards to what she should be doing or want to do for herself, which
Yes.
which fast forwards into just being in very unhealthy, toxic relationships, whether that's intimate relationships, whether that's friendships, and even toxic relationships within families and work. All of it. All of it has to do with relationships. Excuse me. It was another thing that I was going to say. Oh, mothers who use profanity towards their daughters as if, yeah, she your homegirl. Your children don't understand the context in regards to language. If
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying children. I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about children.
Right.
They hear it, they repeat it, they redo it. That's how it works. They can kind of know, oh, that's not right, or that's right and that's wrong, but the context behind it, they don't magically know what that is. If they hear you calling homegirl B, they calling their homegirls B's, okay?
Yep.
In
Yep.
kindergarten. If they hear
And the
you,
mindset of, well, she's supposed to do what I say and not what I do, as if what you do don't speak so loud the children never hear what you say. Like you leading by example, ma'am. Let's stop that.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
and
Didn't
then
mean to jump
so
on your on
yeah,
your
no, you're
train, but
good.
honey,
But
that
also
that
with
pissed me
that,
off.
and then you addressing your child as such is so degrading.
Right.
Is so disrespectful. And
And
had
they
she
don't know that it's degrading and disrespectful.
exactly, exactly,
So you
exactly to
say
get to
things
that
like, well, she
context
not
part,
mad at it. Well, she don't know the piece.
right? Let her be like, okay, B, and then all of a sudden she all up against the wall and stuff because she didn't disrespect you. How we speak to our daughters. I'll say this. Ask yourself, is the way that I speak or usually speak to my daughter in general, does that speak life into her? Does that uplift her?
Mm,
And if you feel it, and then let's be specific, with me calling her out her name, anything other than what she was, um, her birth name,
hmm.
sweetie, honey, you know what I mean? Like,
Sugar pie, yes.
yes, is that uplifting? It's being called a B. Is being called stupid? Is being called dumb? Is it being called, you know what I mean? Is it uplifting? And if you feel that it's not, I would say if you able to put your big draws on, ask her,
Yeah.
how does it make you feel when I call you this? Or how does it make you feel when you hear me talking to my friends and we're referencing to each other as such?
Yep.
And we're kind of hitting on a
Absolutely.
little bit of everything because I'm trying to make sure I get it all. But
Absolutely.
also, so also there's projection. With projection, and I think we kind of maybe have the same age range. You remember back in the day in school, we had the projector in class on the film. Maybe I'm telling my age, but basically, that's
You
how
are.
our feeling. That's how it's kind of coming back, more contemporary these days because you can buy a little monitor and it's on the wall. But anyway,
Right. It
either
like
way it
backyard
goes,
boogie type style. Okay,
right,
got you.
right. Either way it goes is that you have your life or you have the film in that light. That light is past life experiences that
Right.
shines through. You are emotionally reacting. I'm covering my mouth. Reacting your present parenting or mother daughter
Mhm.
relationship from your past experience.
Yes.
And I don't know if you guys see how that does not fit emotionally. It does not align.
Can I
So
give
if
them an example?
yes, yes.
A lot of us grew up with some form of sexual abuse, right? And we were taught that it was our fault.
Mhm.
You're fast. You turned that man on, right? Like as if a 7 year old got
Knew what that
control
was. Yeah.
over a 45-year-old.
Hmm.
And then we parent our daughters in a way, and you let me know if my example is off, but we go from what we have experienced and what we've been taught around that experience. And then we tell our daughters things like, no, you can't wear that. And I'm not talking about like, you can't wear, a bathing suit to church. I'm talking about you can't wear those shorts, right? They're not short shorts, but they're
Right.
shorts, right?
Right.
And so we say things like, you can't wear that around men. You can't, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
we focus on like, let me fix. Now, because somebody gonna jump up and say something crazy. I'm not against mitigating our own damages. I am against traumatizing girls instead of fixing boys. Okay. So we tell our daughters, like, oh no, that's too sexy. That's too this. And it's not. You know what I mean? I think I told you when my daughter went to her school dance, the father daughter dance,
Oh,
her
I
dress was
remember.
off it was like a
I
a
remember. Yeah.
corset. There was no
Right.
sleeves. And the amount of people who were like, oh my God, that's so
Right.
inappropriate. She's so young. She is with her daddy.
Right. Right.
Literally a security guard
Right.
come with this dress. You understand
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right. It is, and exactly, and that's their projection of their own trauma that they were attempting to put on your daughter.
Exactly. And so I think that sometimes it's rarely intentional, right? But I have my own anxieties and fears for my daughter because I went through sexual abuse.
Mhm.
And so I'm mindful of how she sits. I'm mindful of who she sits next to. You understand what I'm saying? I'm mindful of
Right.
how she
Yes.
interacts with adults.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I've had to say, Kiana, if you don't trust the adult, don't have them around her versus
There you go.
making her
Exactly.
heightened in
Right.
every interaction.
Right.
I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want her to be
Yes.
like, is this the day? Like, no, we're not
Right.
doing
Yeah.
that. We're not
Right.
doing that.
Right.
If I
Right.
don't trust you, you have no access. I don't care who you are. I don't care
Right.
your relation. I don't hold myself emotionally hostage to titles. So
Mm-hmm.
you can be uncle, daddy, grandparent, grandmother, girlfriend. It doesn't matter. If I don't trust you, you have zero access. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so me making sure that I, again, teaching caution versus teaching fear, me making sure that I don't project my past trauma into her life so that she does not have to relive my stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Is that the, like, tell me
Yes,
if my
no,
example is
no,
off.
no,
Okay.
no, it very much is, and it hits on, and because of trauma in itself is so complex, it's not like you can just talk about one thing and one thing only. So, with what you
Facts.
shared and what you explained, is that okay, you are aware of how what emotions come up or have come up in regards to you having your own daughter, along
Yes.
with your other stuff outside of her,
Yes.
and is currently at a place and space where you do not want Kayla to be hyper vigilant, just functioning from a hyper vigilant place.
Right.
And
Or
you,
dysfunctioning from a hypervigilant.
right, yeah, correct what you said. And with that, have learned to set a boundary for yourself that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I do not feel safe, if I don't feel that my daughter is safe around this person will not be around.
Absolutely.
So that speaks to and kind of goes into the aspect of some mothers, because they weren't shown how to implement limits and boundaries, they don't know
Yes.
how to do that for themselves.
Right.
So that creates another internal conflict of what am I supposed to do to protect my child?
Mm-hmm.
When this is their grandmother, when this is their uncle, when this is their cousin, when this is their god brother, when this is, we be adding cousins and sisters to the family that ain't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, okay? Um, so, but
I have a
that
very
was
extensive
never
extended family.
right. So that never was modeled, and you don't know how to do it.
Right.
So there is that unfortunate repetition, or as we call it, just the generational cycle.
Curse. Oh,
Thank
okay.
you. They'll say it was another C. I was thinking of the word curse that happens. And it's where there is,
I love
because
you.
there's like the other C. But these harmful patterns, because that is all that you know. And when I say this is not to excuse any behavior whatsoever. It's from a
Absolutely not.
place of becoming aware. Okay, let's just get that straight. But because with there not being any model of how to set these boundaries, how to set these limits, how to implement healthy protection and safety measures for yourself and for your daughter, you are inclined or feel obligated to still have these people be around your daughter. And
Right.
then what happens, happens.
Right.
And
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, there are a lot of people in families where trauma has happened and they are so afraid to rock the boat
Correct.
because
Right.
they don't
Yeah.
want to be sitting on the outside. Like a lot, can we just,
Mhm.
I know
No,
this
we
is
can.
off
And
topic.
no, we can, because
There are a lot of families who, I'm gonna use this example because I think it's very prevalent, particularly in African American homes, um, who will sweep under the rug the family molester,
hmm
but will demonize the child that they turned out.
right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you
That,
turned this
that
kid
girl.
out,
Yes.
and now they are dealing with whatever.
Right.
And whether it's drug abuse, whether it's questioning their sexuality, like whatever the case is, we will demonize that child and never address the
The abuse,
person that
the abuser.
created the
Yes.
situation. And a lot of times we're like, oh, I don't want to say anything because I'm going to be the one that they kick out, or we just know that they're not going to take our side, right? How do I say this nice? F that.
Yeah. No, you
Sometimes you
just
got to be willing to be by yourself. And
yes.
I promise you, if I can say this, because I try not to be like religious and all that, God will replace folks so quickly. He like when I tell you, if it's your mama that God will send you Sister Betty that
Right.
that
Right.
is so
Right.
loving
Yes.
and so
Yes.
nurturing to you, who
hmm
welcomes you with open arms. I love that about my best friend. Everybody feels that she's their best friend. And so I don't worry about losing sisters, right? Because I have sisters.
hmm
You understand what I'm saying? Like, and,
That
and I think that we get so caught up in, oh my God, I have to be a part of the family. And what are they gonna say about me? Listen, if you that worried, you don't have no security in them, no way. If they
right.
talk about everybody else,
Right.
trust me, they talking about you.
They are, and they are. And they
So
are.
go ahead and make moves based on what's best for you versus trying to make moves based on what you think they are going to want you to do. Because we are living in toxic families held emotionally hostage to the title that they hold in our life, auntie, sister, brother, dad, whatever. And the reality is every last one of them is replaceable. Maybe not as a human being, but their role in your life is replaceable.
Yeah. Yeah. And a title does not entitle
Come,
anyone to default be in your life.
can you say that again? I'm gonna write that down. A title does go
A
you
title, mother, brother, daughter, sister, auntie, uncle, cousin, godmother, godfather, god, greats, aunts, auntie, all of them. A title does not entitle anyone to be in your life. The
I have to write that
question you
down,
should
honey.
be asking yourself is this relationship healthy or unhealthy? If you're not sure
Mhm.
what the healthy and unhealthy is, once again, yes, YouTube, you can look it up. Also, within that is if there's conflict, if there is minimizing, if there is degrading, if there is nice nasty, if there is
Mhm.
chaos. I mean, it goes, the point of it is extremes. It can be
Yes,
loud or it can be quiet. It's
yes,
either way it goes, it's still an extreme in regards to what it looks like in real life. Is if there's
absolutely.
the avoidance, if avoidance of accepting responsibility, like I mentioned before, it's complex. There's dynamics, but if you are feeling some type of way and have been feeling a way and does not feel uplifted, now let me pause and let me say this. I'm speaking to those who are at a place of accepting their own actions and behaviors first. If you're trying to play the victim, this is not for you. And I am
Come on
not
here.
talking to you.
Come on.
This ain't that episode. Go on or the page. Okay, go to somebody else. But this is from the aspect of understanding what is healthy, what is unhealthy, and within that, how it's impacting your relationship with your daughter and children overall, but more specifically with your daughter,
Right.
and what things that you need to do for your own work to then get to a place of having a different dynamic relationship
Yes,
with your daughter.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Look, I think this is a good place to pause.
Yeah, I would say there's more we can go on and on and on. However,
Right. And
given our
maybe
time,
part two next week, or maybe we just moving on and we'll circle back at a later time. But either way,
yeah,
thank you guys for joining us. We are the Real on Parenting. I am Coach Kiana Shaw. This is my co-host,
therapist
therapist.
Danielle.
And
Yes,
I see, I
look at
never know
me.
if you're gonna have a delay or not. So I'll be
Yeah,
like,
look
I'll
at
be
me
trying
being
to
on time. Okay, for 2025. All right.
All right. So we will catch you guys next week on a new episode right here on KCCR, Brownstone Worldwide. We are excited to be back. Like this has been a great start to the next season. I don't even know what season this is. I was going to say season
A lot.
four,
Mhm.
but oh, you're right.
But
Not
we love it
season
though.
a
We
lot.
love it here.
This is season a lot. And we thank you all for joining us. Drop in the chat. Let us know if this is resonating with you. Let us know if you've experienced hate from your mom and
Yeah.
share your story. Like we would love to share it. If you want to be a guest and share it because we can talk about it, right? Like I mean,
Yeah.
listen. Well, let me pause that. Let us know, but because Danielle be like, listen, we cannot fix people in an hour, and I'll be like, but let's
We
start, and
cannot.
she'd be like, no, because we gotta have continuing care. Like that's the difference
Right.
between a therapist and a life coach. Not no, let me
Thank
not
you
say
for
that
that.
because somebody gonna take that the wrong way. Let's anyway, bye y'all. See you later.